Tim Kemland, CEO of BoXX United, things which we'll discuss. Aaron Payas, partner here at Hassans, specialising in sports law and all kinds of FinTech. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to give a quick thank you to our sponsors in the middle of your introduction, but without them we couldn't do our event. So thank you to Abacus Financial Services, obviously Hassans, Damex, SRG Europe, Gib Telecom Business, and Gibraltar Finance, all supporting the Startup Grind Gibraltar events. So, Tim, I'm going to start with you. You have a major in accountancy and taxation, but you spent more than a decade running successful businesses. So tell us a little bit about that.
That makes me realize I'm getting old. Yes, I studied accountancy, taxation. When I graduated from college, I started working in an accountancy office. Quickly realized it wasn't my thing. What happened then, my father asked me, why don't we start up a business ourselves, something completely different, construction. I liked the challenge, so we started off there. Learned a lot of things, not only working with the head, but also working with hands. Grew some, how they say it in English, grew some balls in the business. Learned how to be an entrepreneur. Really liked it. After 10 years, we sold the business. We were around 25 to 30 people. Learned what it is to be an entrepreneur, putting your best into the business, working hard every day. And from there, yeah, it's my journey started, to be honest.
And you're enjoying it, obviously.
I'm enjoying it.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Aaron, you've been really busy these past few years, numerous achievements, sports law, you're in the cannabis space, crypto funds, token sales. I mean, the list is very, very long. So tell us about the evolution to meet the changing demands of technology legally and in the regulatory for startups coming to Gibraltar.
Yes, I think my background with the other areas of law is just a young lawyer looking for work and looking for my passion. So because of my football background, I did a bit of sports law, but I've always been in the funds team here at Hassans. And I would say after football, like asset management is my passion. So that's why I completed my CFA, and that helped me do very well in funds. But then when crypto came along, it's kind of my sweet spot because I've got a degree in mathematics, so I understand technology. I did a few modules in computer science and programming, so that helps me understand the technology that a little bit. So with the help of the rest of the FinTech team, Anthony and the youngsters at the back, it's been an incredible journey for the past, what is it now, 5-6 years already. Since 2017, we introduced the DLT framework here in Gibraltar. And what we've been doing is we've been basically traveling in uncharted territory since the beginning, because we took the decision to regulate the space when it was unregulated everywhere. I think after New York had a BIT license, which was a bespoke license for crypto companies. So only they had something that was bespoke before us. So really, when we were looking at all of these different projects and trying to come up with our own legal analysis, there was no precedent. We didn't have any help from anywhere. And that's been the best part of the job, for sure. Just helping these founders develop. Like we have that with Tim and many others. And together with the government and the regulator, develop the whole space and develop what is the framework now.
Okay. That's awesome. So you're kind of creating something as you evolve as well. Tim, you're an integral part of very successful companies. One of them, Probiotec Global, which is sustainable cleaning products and good for the environment. DigiScan Limited, which is also a Gibraltar registered company. This is involved in FinTech. Tell us about your experience with startups and the blockchain industry.
It's a very special world to be in. It's evolving very fast, a lot of challenges. I've also been into crypto, like Aaron was saying, for almost 10 years now. Learned a lot of things in blockchain and general in crypto, which making mistakes because I didn't have anyone to learn from. It was a very special time. Everyone was telling me you're crazy, it's a dangerous world, etc., etc. But yeah, it was very nice to be in that area because I liked the idea behind it. I liked the freedom about it, the general idea. And from there we started building. I met my partner in many businesses. Johan is back in the room. And at that time we made a decision like 6 years ago, let's grow businesses together, startups, but they need to be green, they need to be innovative, and they need to add, contribute to the world. They need to contribute something nice. So we have general business models. We have Probiotec, which is green cleaning using probiotics. It's not only safe for the environment, it's safe for yourself, for your home. We have some other things going on, like we are creating now a battery project, which is a sustainable battery green energy storage. And what we also did in Gibraltar is BoXX United, together with Aaron, very nice team, and DigiScan. DigiScan is something which grew upon us the last 6 months. We felt there was a real need for a good KYC ML system, which was why we felt it, because crypto is evolving very fast and people are used to doing things pretty easy and fast. And in the banking sector, that's called like that, the traditional sector, the systems were slow, were old, outdated, and we tried to innovate that. So we are using top-notch technology. We are using A-listed partners to get a very easy-to-use system for the end consumer, but still doing the task that it needs to be done. So trying to be innovative is actually the key thing we're trying to do.
I love that. That's really very inspirational. I think this is part of why we have these conversations with founders, because it means that we can slowly start to build businesses that add more value than just a revenue model. So, Aaron, you're very focused on Web3, I've noticed, while I've been cyber stalking you. And you feel that with a solid legal and regulatory foundations, it can become a lot more mainstream. What opportunities do you see within Web3?
So the opportunities in Web3 are really limitless. You've got the most obvious one are the big brands. So take Gucci, for example, creating their virtual handbag, or Nike creating their virtual trainers. That's the most obvious one. So if you have an avatar in one of these metaverses, in one of these virtual worlds, you can dress up your avatar, and it's something which is already happening in games like Fortnite and other games. But this would take it to the next level in the sense that you have your avatar and you will properly own, for example, the Gucci handbag that your avatar is wearing. And that handbag, which would be represented as an NFT, a type of digital token, can then be sold outside of this metaverse, so it gives you true ownership. Then there's opportunities in virtual experiences, for example, or even advertising. So there's going to be, for example, I think it's Nike that partnered with Roblox. They have a whole world, almost a theme park within one of the virtual worlds. There's opportunities there for advertising, for example. So it's really creating a whole new world in the digital space. So whatever opportunities you have in the real world, you can probably replicate in these virtual worlds. And that is actually, if you look at or read the blogs of the top VCs in the world, you will see that they try to do in Web3. Web3 is this crypto decentralized space. They try to replicate business models in Web3 by using the ideas of Web2 and the real world now. Okay. So it really is limitless what opportunities there are.
So I'm going to ask you a sneaky question here that wasn't on the list. We're hearing a lot about the ETH merge. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening there? Because a lot of the Web3 is based on Ethereum. So maybe it's interesting from your perspective to tell us a bit more.
Yeah. So thank you for the curveball. I'll send you a link to a blog post. I'm going to explain.
Okay.
No, but so the main thing that is happening is that there's two main types of blockchains. One type is called proof of work.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there are computers doing mathematical calculations, and those calculations secure the blockchain itself. So the more computers there are, the more secure the blockchain will be. But there is another type of blockchain which is called proof of stake, which isn't driven by computing power. It's driven by people owning tokens and what you call staking your tokens.
Okay.
So the staking of these tokens is how you secure the blockchain. Now, the proof of work uses a lot of electricity, and it's where the many complaints about blockchain, about Bitcoin and Ethereum have come, that it's not ESG compliant, so it's not sustainable. So there's arguments all around that, whether you're in favor or not, but that's the main argument with proof of work. So what Ethereum have done is they are shifting from proof of work to proof of stake. So it should be like 99.9% more efficient now, and more sustainable. And it's called the merge simply because how the technology works. There's two blockchains and they're basically merging together. Okay. So,
yeah, there was an issue with the gas charges and all this kind of thing with Ethereum. So.
Yeah. But actually, that's all of it. So the gas charges will remain the same.
Okay.
So for the everyday user, we probably won't see any or feel any difference.
Yeah, there just seems to be a lot of excitement around it, so I thought I'd throw it in.
It is a massive deal. If it doesn't go well, we will have a huge problem. If it goes well, we're hoping that we can then push off from there. So hopefully we can see that reflected in the markets.
Good.
The second biggest project. So if that goes wrong, it's a real issue.
Yeah.
Okay. So talking a little bit about let's move on to the token side. And BoXX United Limited is now a VAS, which is a virtual asset service provider, and you're going to be selling your KiXX token from Gibraltar. So what is the token? What are you going to use it for? What is the model behind it?
BoXX United is a sports marketing company,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a utility token, the KiXX token. And of course, the VAPS is thanks to Hassans and thanks to Aaron's team, of course. It's a very nice help of that. What we are trying to do is connect the fan to the favorite sports club or athlete on a very unique way. Today, a lot of clubs, a small amount of clubs are, for example, stock listed, and the fan can buy a share or something else. And the other possibility is he buys a ticket, he buys some drinks at the stadium, mm-hmm. some shirts, and that's it. What we are trying to do is create, again, an innovative way to connect the fan with his favorite club and generate new revenue streams. Mm-hmm. So, for example, when an athlete comes to our company, when an athlete comes to our company, what will happen is we will do a KYC AML on the athlete or club. Mm-hmm. When they approve, they get a unique referral link, and that referral link they share on their social media. So it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever they like. And when the fan clicks on that link, he gets connected to his favorite club. So from there on, if he buys the token, if he buys a product through our system, if he uses our debit cards, if he buys an NFT, if he plays a game, there's always profit made on that business, and that profit is shared with the athletes and with the system. So we support the token, we support the athlete in his future career, and we help the fan engage more with his favorite club or athletes. And also in regards to NFTs, we have a small different vision on NFTs. The NFT market is growing pretty fast. There are a lot of successful projects, like for example BoXX Club. That's very famous. CryptoPunks. But what we are trying to do is not only give the fan like a nice picture or image from his favorite athlete, but also connect something to it. So, for example, a nice meetup, maybe a yearly dinner, visit the club, get a unique signature, that kind of things.
It's a reward scheme together. Okay, nice. So, Aaron, you know a little bit about tokens. I'm just going to remind you, I don't know if you've forgiven me yet, about our session with INX when we had online and I didn't record. So I just wanted to talk about that landmark achievement and the fact that the application to the SEC in the US for the approved security token came from your work here. And how do you think Gibraltar is leveraging its potential to attract global startups to set up here because of the regulatory framework and now this new VASP license?
Yeah, so clearly it's very difficult to grow in this space. We've seen many failed attempts, like for example Malta, that completely overpromised at the beginning. They were our main competitors, and then were hit with corruption scandals and were hit with not delivering on promises. The regulator wasn't up to speed, so basically not very business friendly at all. We've taken a different approach. We've taken the approach of steady growth, so not over-promising anything. On the contrary, trying to over-deliver whenever we can. So that has been the way that we've gone about our business, and I think it's worked really well, but I still think that Gibraltar is a bit of a hidden gem in this space. So the work that we are doing, and which is why it's so important that we work together with our clients and we celebrate with our clients every time that they achieve something, is because that in its own way is marketing, and it's probably the best form of marketing. When people can see that it's not just articles and just a lot of talk out there, it's actually real results. I think that is the best marketing, and that combined to hopefully Tim will go out there whenever he speaks to anyone. They say, okay, where are you based? He will say Gibraltar, he'll say Hassans, not any other law firm, hopefully. And that the power of referrals is for sure the best marketing strategy. So that is what we're trying to do. And with INX, it was of course a big landmark. I think it's just a bonus that we got that. I think we were very lucky to get that piece of work. Lucky in the sense that they could have gone anywhere else. I think we did a lot to win that work. But the INX situation is something that is almost once in a lifetime. It still remains the only security token that has been approved by the SEC in the US, which are notorious regulators with regards to crypto. And the wonderful story for us is that the token issuer isn't even a US company, it's a Gibraltar company. Okay. So the work that we did there and getting it approved, yeah, for sure, we went the lead lawyers, because there was we worked with NWE in New York and Washington, but they were the ones speaking to the SEC. But we were leading or running the show here from Gibraltar perspective. So that was an incredible story. I still think that not enough people know about what a successful moment that was. But again, it's up to us to get the message out there, but by doing good work, not just by over-promising and not being able to deliver.
Well, congratulations. I mean, these kind of achievements only come out of very, very hard work, and I know that. And second, we're also here to support and tell the stories in the capacity that we have as an events and marketing platform. So, yeah, always happy to share that with our network too. So, back to you, Tim, and some cool stuff that happened this summer. You sponsored, supported, and actually won the DAMX Pro Basketball League, which was organized for the first time in Gibraltar. BoXX United Cobras took the winning cup. And so apart from having a successful collaboration, you also were part of their initiative. Tell us how it all came about and how the collaboration is going.
It's going very well. How it came about, we entered into JIP, got to know our lawyers. We got to know the people from DAMX, was introduced to Jason, who was in the room, and the owner Sam. very nice people, all involved in sports and crypto, so we shared a lot of common things. The connection was really well from day one, equal page, and from there it grew, working together on different things. And then they came to us like, hey, we're organizing this event in Gibraltar in basketball. And we were like, yeah, we are in Gibraltar at the moment, so we just need to do this. It's a no-brainer to us. And then also because it was not only for the marketing purposes or getting word around BoXX or DAM, but it was also, the event was about helping the youth in Gibraltar, connecting better to sports, and that's something we really like because we also support charities. And yeah, it was an instant win for both of us. And then on top of that, yeah, we won, so that's even better. That's even better.
It's always nice to win.
Yeah,
You're not in it to win it, but if you do, it's always nice.
But we lost, so don't rub it in.
I'm rubbing something I didn't know, okay?
we actually defeated them, so that was also
you were in the final together, okay, well, just
the fees have gone up, but not related.
Okay. So, actually talking about sports, you dedicate yourself to football in your spare time, over 10 caps as a full international for Gibraltar, so there you go. It's not all about losing, right? How important is it for teams and athletes to be able to be part of a project as BoXX United?
Sorry, I think it's extremely important. So not every sport out there is like football, but they have there's revenue streams left, right, and center. And I always remember a story that I heard from the Olympics. There was a BMX athlete from Team GB who won the gold medal. But the only reason she made it to the Olympics was because she raised money from her own streets, so from her neighbors. She raised that. Maybe it wouldn't have been much, maybe £2,000 or £3,000. But without those £2,000 or £3,000, she wouldn't have made it to the Olympics. So she wouldn't have won the gold. So it said money would have been or was the determining factor between winning a gold medal or not even going to the Olympics. So what BoXX is trying to do is that you always mention football because it's a typical example, but
it's actually a bad example.
I think it's the worst example. He needs to work on it.
Yeah.
But the best examples are people who are excellent sports people in their own field that don't have the money to progress, or that they have a limit to how far they can go because of finances mainly. There's always other reasons, but finances is a big thing, and this is where BoXX can come in. So if Tim is I don't know if you're good at anything, but maybe if you're a good darts player, we can all buy KiXX tokens to support him. So we use his link, and maybe that's the difference between him going to a world championship or not. And I think that is, like he said, like people in sports, you've got fans, and they don't ask anything in return. All they ask for is for their athlete or their team to do their best. But it's all about losing money in a way. You spend money on tickets, you spend money on kids, but it's all in support of a team without really getting anything in return. Here, you can support the athlete in a way that maybe wasn't possible before, because they are making it so easy. And on top of that, you get benefits from the KiXX tokens. So I think what they're doing is groundbreaking, and the way that they're delivering is I really hope I don't jinx it, right? I think they're going to be very successful.
To add on the story, one of my personal things I encountered, I wasn't experienced in athletics, and our other director, John, he has a very good friend, and he's doing very big athletics events in Manchester mainly. And we sponsored and don't say this wrong, the Indoor Manchester Athletics Tour, I think is the full name. So there were a lot of competitors there from all different countries. They were already in their class top league, but we mingled among the athletes, and what you feel is that you see a lot of promising athletes. They are there alone, or with their father, or with their mother. They don't have any financial support. They're playing top level. Some of them were lucky; they got paid their travels by the country, but that's it. But the others were like paying their stays, the travel, the hotel, the foods, their suit, everything. And then it was like, shit, this is really something, this is really huge if you can help these people grow better, faster, they stay focused on their sporting levels, and the financials, we help them create extra, let's call it breathing room to grow faster, better, and stronger. It was really, it had an impact on me to see how it's working there, because indeed football is maybe not the right example, but everyone knows football.
Yeah.
But the leagues beneath that is just crazy to see.
That's nice. I mean, there are incredible athletes out there, but they don't have the finances to get to where they need to be. Then everybody's missing out to a degree.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Okay, we're coming to the last couple of questions. So if you can start thinking of anything you'd like to ask Tim or Aaron before we finish the session. I don't know if we have any questions online, Mark, and we can go, okay, we'll go over to that once we've finished here. So I'm going to stay with you, Tim. You are relocating to Gibraltar with your team. What's the plan?
The plan is to expand, create a very nice team here, set the business up and expand in Europe in first phase, and then with BoXX go further to US, for example, to Asia on a later stage. We're now setting up the building blocks, getting it done properly, and we hope to launch somewhere end this year, beginning next year in full. So we're now finishing up different steps of the business models and then start and market it.
Fantastic. So, Aaron, going back a little bit to the VASP, do you think having various levels of different regulation to attract these kind of startups to Gibraltar is a good thing? And how are you seeing the training of your teams to be able to adapt to servicing clients?
Yeah, so crypto is not only fast moving, but it's constantly changing. So we need to be ready to adapt on a daily basis if needed. So I think we do that really well because we're always tuned up and looking at how things evolve. But the VASP registration was something that was introduced in March last year, and that came as a result of some specific guidance from the FATF. But to be honest, the way that we were structuring token issuers before the requirement to register was almost the same, practically the same. So we were almost self-regulating the token issuers. So basically, having a presence here in Gibraltar, having local directors, the MLRO requirements came in, although it's always there, but there was a specific requirement with the VASP regime. But I just feel that regulation is hitting crypto all the time, and it's only going to get heavier. I just feel that we are one step ahead by implementing these things quickly, and it really helps a VASP once they get registered. Although they're not licensed, they are registered and they appear on the GFSC's website, and that is extremely helpful because there's massive VCs, massive investors, big clients. There's service providers such as banks that you want to work with, and it's very powerful to have that link on the website showing we've gone through a process and we are compliant from an AML perspective, which is what the VASP registration is based on, and that gives you a lot of strength when speaking to these people. We've got banks here in the room, and you can be sure that they will always say we're much more comfortable with a company that is registered with the FSC than if it isn't. So yeah. So I think we thought that it was going to be a problem when it came in. We would rather not have had it, but now that we do have it, I think we've developed a narrative around it that it's actually helpful to have it. So yeah, I think we're doing very well and we're still attracting a lot of VASPs to the boat.
Great news. So just to wrap up our conversation here, with both your experiences, a question for both of you. What are the biggest challenges for anyone considering starting up, not just in the blockchain industry, but generally speaking? Because I feel like the challenges are always going to be very similar. And what advice would you give, Tim?
I think, in my personal opinion, there are 3 big rules in being or wanting to start up as an entrepreneur. Set a goal, set a mark in your life. Don't deviate from your path. And I like the quote from Arnold, say, ignore the naysayers, because in your journey you will have a lot of people that say, no, you can't do it, it's not possible. Just ignore them, stay focused, learn to fail, because you will encounter a lot of failures on your path, and when you fail, you learn from your mistakes, and when you learn, you grow your business. And I think the biggest one is work every hour, every day, every year until you get there, and if not, just keep on doing your utter best, and you will get there.
Okay. Aaron?
I think just to add something that I always tell my team is also to help people as much as possible without asking for anything in return. I think those good vibes that you put out there, they always come back in multiples in terms of size. So I think, in this world where you always hear the word build, building in Web3, I think it's the same in any other industry. But if you are humble enough to offer yourself to help different projects, then at some point people will come back to you, either returning the favor or just because you've worked well, you've developed new relationships, and they just want to continue working with you in whatever capacity. Yeah. And I think that's something which we've done extremely well. And I would say, I think this firm does it extremely well. But I think in the FinTech team, like me and Anthony have the same approach, which is we help as much as possible, without thinking about fees, without thinking about how getting money as quickly as possible, or focusing on that. And then the fees then come flying. So when you're not looking for something, it normally comes quicker. So I would say helping without asking for anything in return is also a very good way to step into the space.
I mean, that's excellent advice on many fronts, both of your advice, obviously. But when you're starting up, you really need to pull every resource you have, including friends and favors. And when you do become successful, then it always comes back. So thank you so much. Questions in the room? Oh, lots of questions, because you answered very quickly. So I'm very excited that we have questions. Right, I'm coming over. Paul Stengo from Gibraltar Finance, everyone.
Thank you very much. The question I have is, how does it work in practice? Does the sportsperson come to you and say, I'm looking to raise some cash for endings and gains, and you promote them, and then people decide that they're going to contribute to them, or how does it? I'm just trying to understand the practicalities of how it works.
It can work both ways. So, for example, we can be approached by a fan that says, hey, I want to promote my club. Maybe the club is not listed yet, so we help them to get the club listed, or the other way around. The club comes to us, or we approach the club, hey, we have some fans already, or this is an interesting business model because we don't charge any fees on that. It's free. And when they create their own link, they promote themselves. The better they promote, the more they will get. And the main thing we try to do is create continuity. So meaning it's not only a one-off, it's a complete ecosystem and it keeps on running.
So given Aaron's knowledge of the Gibraltar football scene, for example, would you see that as something that Gibraltar football clubs would be interested in doing in terms of raising some money?
For sure, I think it's as we said before, we always talk about football. It's the easy one. There's no reason why it couldn't happen. But I would love to see the swimmers. I would love to see the athletes. I would love to see the darts players. Those sports are the ones that I'm looking at. The badminton players, tennis, people that we don't normally hear about. Well, we know we've got a lot of talent here in Gibraltar. So why we've got Amanda Carreras that did very well, but she was probably supported from a young age. We've got, I always forget his first name, but the golf player, Sebastian was doing amazing. he's probably going to get to the top, but he was being properly supported. Now, if there is another Sebastian out there that doesn't have the financial support, will he get to the top? So I think BoXX is maybe not for sure the solution, but it can really help. And as Denise said before, we're all missing out on if we have talent that because of finances are not reaching their potential, then we're all missing out. Because I'm sure we're gonna have lots of fun watching Sebastian, watching him grow, watching him play, hopefully, in the big tours.
But even with football, I mean, my kids, the younger, used to play. We used to do fundraising and to go on trips abroad and stuff like that. So there's the Manchester United, Manchester City level of football, which don't need that help. But then there's a lot of grassroots football that could also
absolutely. Yeah, I just feel like not to bang on the same point, but when you have a football team, you've got a structure. You've got, I don't know, 15, 16 players. You've got their parents. You've got the president of the club, the coach. There's a lot of people involved. When you're a darts player, you're alone. So when you're not going to stand outside Morrison's by yourself, raising money for yourself. The football team does it as a collective. It's much easier. Like I would never stand outside Morrison's. I didn't even do it for my football team. But if BoXX could support me, then it opens opportunities.
Aaron, share your benefit with the solutions.
Correct. Yeah. Right. First, thank you very much for the conversation today. Yeah, it's been very enlightening. I wanted to say first, I think the example with football, even though it's an easy one, I can see, I think it's a good one because obviously there is much more to develop there from a metaverse perspective. There's merchandise, there is ticketing, there is broadcasting rights, maybe things like that can be developed later on in terms of what fans and supporters can tap into. But my question is actually, how is your platform then different from many of the other crowdfunding platforms that are out there? Just do if I'm starting athlete, I'm do a fund me campaign, and that's it. So how's your solution different, or what are the benefits of using that one instead of the generic crowdfunding platform?
I think what we are building is unique at the moment, at this stage. Why? Because we're not only doing the crowdfunding or fundraising, we're trying to create a continuity for every athlete and sport clubs, meaning we're trying to create one ecosystem where it's very easy to navigate into as a fan, because I would think most fans don't know a lot about crypto or other things. So we're trying to attract their normal day spending into the ecosystem, and they pay the same or even less, but by doing so, they're always supporting their favorite club or athletes, connecting all these worlds in one. And what I also see in crypto, which makes it very difficult, is, for example, if you want to support your club, you can buy maybe a share or something else. But next to that, you can have your own MasterCard, of course. But when you're spending with your MasterCard, nothing is going to your club. And you're spending because you travel, you buy food, you buy gasoline, etc. So if you can connect those things, your everyday spending, and you can connect it to your club, it's very powerful. Also, one of the benefits I see in our system is we have one utility token for all the sports industry. We don't create separate tokens for separate clubs, separate athletes. It's not so unique, and it's not sustainable. So that's our vision behind it. And also it's everything in one, meaning if you want to do NFTs, we help the athletes, we help the clubs doing NFTs in the same brand environment. If they want to buy products, it's in the same brand environment. They don't need to log into another website, Alibaba or whatever. It all stays in the same ecosystem. And that makes it very powerful.
I'm going to add another benefit to it, which is that as a sports marketing agency of sorts, you are also promoting athletes who might only be able to have a certain reach. But once they become part of your ecosystem, their reach will grow, and fans who may never have come across a specific athlete in their whole life might be supporting them. So you're actually growing an ecosystem for athletes as well.
Correct.
Sorry. Okay, I did my research.
Good to hear.
It's okay. I think John's question online about
Has been answered.
It's been answered in a general sense by Paul, but maybe it makes more sense to connect you to offline.
Okay, fantastic. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Everybody, please. Oh, sorry.
I just wonder which blockchain are you using and what?
We are using the blockchain, what we discussed, Ethereum. Why it's the most trustworthy blockchain? In my opinion, it's one of the biggest, one of the safest. Is that it has proven itself. That's the reason. There are a lot of other blockchains in the market. I've been in the market for many years, but I'll be very honest, I don't trust them yet. It's too early for a lot of blockchains. I'm not saying they are bad, but when you build your entire business model on a certain blockchain, I want to be 100% safe. And I don't want to be in a position where you build something on a certain blockchain. You create, at this moment, we have like 500 to 1,000 pre-registrations already of athletes and different sports people. And let's say we become very successful in the next 2 years and we have like millions of athletes and fans on it. And then the blockchain just dies on you.
I totally agree.
So then you have a very big issue and you can't do anything about it.
I totally agree. I already said the only problem is the fees have to change. In the next few months anyway.
That's correct, but we are looking into things to cover that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're going to wrap up. Anybody who would like to contact Aaron, he is part of the Hassans team. Tim, you'll be in Gibraltar, so again, anybody wishing to connect with him, we can facilitate that. But we have a little while longer for you all to enjoy a bit more breakfast and have a quick chat and do a bit of networking. Thank you so much all for coming, and we'll see you next month for the first anniversary of the Digital Skills Academy. Thank you.
Thank you.